Hey guys, YouTuber Hunter here. Alright, and now here I am to kick off my Christmas reviews for the year. And starting off with National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. So, yeah, I thought that this was a pretty good movie overall. I mean, it's no like absolute masterpiece or anything, but it definitely is a very enjoyable film. I mean, I understand why people would really like watch this like during Christmas every year. I mean, it definitely is worth it. I mean, it definitely is like probably one of the more popular Christmas movies, especially like of the last few generations. Basically, like ever since it came out, like it has like developed like a real following over the years, and it is like probably looked at as probably one of the more popular Christmas movies of this generation. And yeah, it definitely is like a very enjoyable film. Of course, this film is like part of the National Lampoon's Vacation movie series. There's been like uh yeah, there's been like quite a few of the National Lampoon movies. There's been I think like five of them, or six of them. Yeah, there's been like several National Lampoon Vacation movies. But yeah, this is really the only one that I've really ever watched. Yeah, this is probably looked at by many as probably the most popular National Lampoon's Vacation film. And yeah, this just seems to be the one that people really seem to think of immediately. Yeah, because yeah, this really just is like, well, it is just a really pretty enjoyable film. Really can't since I haven't really seen like this is really the only National Lampoon's Vacation film I've seen. I really can't actually say if it is the best because this is really the only one that I've watched. So I don't know if like there are better National Lampoon Vacation films out there. But regardless of which one's the best, this is still like a very enjoyable film to watch. Yeah, the film, of course, like start. Well, yeah, the National Lampoon Vacation films are about like the Griswold family, and they're basically like always, of course, like on their vacations and stuff, and like they're like always are on have go through like some misadventures or something, and like they're always trying to enjoy vacations, but they just always have like disasters and embarrassing predicaments that happen to them. So yeah, they go through like a lot of like shenanigans throughout the each film. And yeah, of course, like that happens in this film. They just end up going through a bunch of like disasters and stuff. And yeah, it is like pretty funny to watch. Like there are like some pretty funny scenes in this film. Like the stuff with like the Christmas tree like around the beginning of the film, and just like some stuff like some of the stuff that happens with cousin Eddie in this film I thought was pretty funny. Yeah, this film does have like some pretty funny like scenes to it like that. And so yeah, it definitely does have a good mix of comedy to this film also. It does have some pretty good jokes. Yeah, the film of course like stars Chevy Chase as Clark, the father of the family, and yeah, we also have like his wife Ellen and their two kids, Audrey and Russ. Yeah, and of course like in this film they have like a bunch of their family members coming, like there are both like Clark and Ellen's parents that come, and of course like there's cousin Eddie and his family and stuff, and so yeah, it has like a pretty big cast for the family in this film. And yeah, this film also does have like a it does feature like a couple other big stars in this film too. Like it has people like Julia Louis Dreyfus and Brian Doyle Murray, and Doris Roberts, and yeah, just like stars like that. So yeah, and the rest of the cast in this film, they all do like pretty good with their roles. It definitely does have a good mix of like comedy added to the story and stuff. So yeah, it's really like no like absolute masterpiece or anything, but yeah, it is definitely worth a watch. Like it is an entertaining film, and you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of this. So yeah, I give this film probably I don't know 3.25 stars out of 4. I mean, yeah, definitely like not the absolute greatest Christmas movie of all time, but definitely like a very enjoyable one. So, yeah, that's the best way I can put it. So, yeah, let me just get right into it. Alright. So yeah, and at the beginning of the film, like the Griswold family are like how they like get a Christmas tree with like of course like Clark, Ellen, Audrey, and Russ. Yeah, and they then eventually like find this huge tree he that Clark felt would be the perfect tree for them, but they end up like having to uproot the tree since they didn't have any tools to cut it down, which that was funny that they actually like got grabbed the tree root and all and loaded it onto their car. Yeah. Yeah. And then like as they were like putting the tree up, it showed like the tree was just like really like so big that it actually like touched the ceiling of the house and stuff, and like eventually like the tree just ended up like falling after like Clark tried to shorten it down or something. Yeah. And eventually, like, as I said, like, Clark and Ellen's parents both, like, arrive to spend Christmas with the family. And they just, like, end up, like, really, like, annoying the family a lot because of their constant bickering to each other. And, but Clark really just did want to really still have, like, a good family Christmas with each other. And then, yeah, he then just ended up, like, completely covering the house with like Christmas lights, and at first they didn't work, but then eventually, Julie like because it was shown that Clark accidentally like wired the lights through the garage's light switch, yeah, and then eventually Clark did then get them to work, and it just showed that the house was completely covered in lights. I think there were like 25,000 of them. Yeah. Yeah. And eventually, like, as the entire family was, like, out on the front lawn, like, just admiring all the lights, then, like, showed that Ellen's cousin Catherine, along with her husband Eddie, he, like, also arrived unannounced to visit, along with, like, their children Rocky and Ruby Sue, and Snots, their dog. Yeah. 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 And then, like, Eddie was eventually, like, talking with Clark, and he was just telling Clark that they're living in the RV that they arrived in, and because like Eddie is broke and like he basically just had to sell their home. Yeah, and yeah, then Clark then just offered them to buy gifts for Eddie's kids for them to still like have a good Christmas and stuff. And like it was revealed that Clark is like having a swimming pool installed and stuff, and he really like had to make a payment in advance. Well, like he needed like some money to like replace payment in advance and stuff. That and then like Clark was expecting like a Christmas bonus from his boss, Frank and Shirley. Yeah, and like Clark just wasn't getting the bonus at all. Oh, and like he was just expecting like it was gonna be mailed to him or something, and like during Christmas Eve, like as they were all sitting down at dinner, like the Christmas Eve dinner just ended up being a disaster. There was just like uh, mishap after mishap after mishap, and then eventually Clark ended up then receiving an envelope from a messenger who had overlooked the envelope the day before. Yeah. Yeah, and then like Clark, of course, I thought that that envelope was actually his bonus, but then once he opened the envelope, it just showed that all it was a free year's membership for the Jelly of the Month Club. And then after that, then like Clark just completely snapped for about not getting his bonus, and then he just like went into a total tirade about his boss. And then yeah, he was just like making a bunch of comments about his boss, and then just like straight up out of anger, he was then just asking for Frank to be given to him as a Christmas present and over to his house so he could actually like tell him off face to face, like right to his face and stuff, yeah. And then, yeah, Eddie then just ended up like really like taking what Clark had said, like literally, and so then he ended up then just driving over to Frank's mansion, and then he just ended up like kidnapping Frank and bringing him back to the house. And then, yeah, he then like just had a big red ribbon tied around Frank as a present to Clark. And then, yeah, Clark then just ended up confronting Frank about like the cancellation of the Christmas bonuses for all the employees. Yes, yeah. Yes, yeah. And like then that's when Frank then ended up like coming to his senses, and then he just agreed to like reinstate the bonuses, and he like decided to add on a extra 20% to Clark's salary. And then like the police then arrived because Frank's wife Helen ended up calling them, and then like Frank then just told the police that he wasn't gonna press charges, and he just explained what happened to his wife and the police, and yeah, even like his wife and the police called him like cheap and stuff, and said that what he was doing was wrong and stuff, yeah, and yeah, Frank then just told him that he understands everything that he did now and what it was wrong and stuff, yeah. And then, yeah, everybody was then just celebrating, and then it should, like, Rocky and Ruby Sue, then outside, they, like, saw a shooting star, which they believed was, like, Santa Claus, and Clark was just telling them that that shooting star was the Christmas star, and he now realized what the holiday really does mean, and, like, also, like, Uncle Lewis, who is, like, is, saying that the light was like coming from like the sewage treatment plant, and he was like just telling Clark and Eddie. Well, he was telling Clark that Eddie was just dumping his sewage right into like a storm drain or something, and then like Uncle Lewis then just ended up like tossing a lit match which ended up like causing a huge explosion. And then like Aunt Bethany was like singing the Star Spangled Banner, and I forgot to mention like during like the Christmas Eve dinner and stuff, like she was saying grace, but what she was just all she did was just say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then after this explosion, she was just singing the Star Spangled Banner. So that's another one of the good fun, comedic elements of the film that she's just like singing like songs like that. Yeah. And then, yeah, the family and the SWAT team were all joining in to sing the Star Spangled Banner. And then it just like showed then that Clark's Santa and reindeer set were on fire, and they were just like flying through the distance as if like it was really like Santa's sleigh and stuff, yeah. And then, yeah, it just then like showed the family and SWAT team were just celebrating in the house, and Clark and Ellen were just still outside looking at the sky and stuff, and then they just ended up like sharing a Christmas kiss with each other, and then, yeah, that's how the movie ended. So, yeah, 3.25 stars out of 4, like I said. Yeah, it is like an enjoyable movie. No classic or, well, no like masterpiece or anything. It probably is looked at as a classic by a lot of people today, and yeah, I guess like this is like based on its popularity, it probably is looked at as a real Christmas classic, like especially like as it's looked at today. But yeah, there are like a lot of better Christmas movies out there, but this is still has a lot of enjoyment to it, and yeah, this is definitely worth a watch. So yeah, if you haven't seen it before, check it out, and you'll definitely enjoy this film. Like you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So yeah, alright, so yeah, that does it for my review of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and stay tuned throughout, like, the month as we, like, get closer to Christmas for more of these Christmas reviews. Alright, but anyway, so, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.